Hello New Zealand, I'm Philip Duncan. Thank you very much for joining us. Well, we're tracking high pressure and low pressure stuck off our eastern side. Quite a deep low and quite a big high. Now that low is the one that was sitting around Nelson over the weekend and slowly drifted off to the northeast. It's deepened, and so between those two systems you've got an easterly wind that is building. Also out over southeastern Australia, that's our westerly change that's arriving later in the week. In the meantime, in between these two systems, high pressure to the north, bringing a fairly settled Monday and Tuesday. And so we're going to get colder nights and warmer days as a result of this setup. Now let's just go back in time briefly. 7 days of rainfall across New Zealand. Quite a lot to look at, so we'll just break it down to three general colours. If you go with yellow, pink, and blue. So if we start with the yellow areas, that's at the bottom end of the scale. So around 10 to 20 millimetres has fallen in these areas in the sort of yellow shading down towards the south, east and north. In the pink shading, you're up around that 60 to 100 millimetres of rain over the last 7 days. That's a fair chunk of central New Zealand, sort of the lower half of the North Island, upper half of the South Island. And the areas in pale blue, that's right down here, 150 to 200 millimetres of rain. That is a lot, mostly falling around the Southern Alps, the Nelson Ranges, Mount Taranaki, and also up around National Park and Mount Ruapehu. So a fair bit of rain has fallen over the last several days, but not necessarily huge amounts in some of our more dry areas. Now, fog risks on Tuesday morning, you can see here in the bright pink. So there could be a bit of fog around Christchurch again, maybe a little bit around Southland, through the Southern Alps, up in the north, some patchy stuff around Auckland and Waikato, but not overly widespread. So this is lunchtime Tuesday. Look at this big low that has deepened off our northeastern coastline. So that was the one that sat over us across the weekend. Now it's being working against that high down in the Southern Ocean. So this is a really big squash zone of weather blowing back towards New Zealand that will blow in rain clouds to that eastern side. So many other places have clear skies and lovely sunny afternoons, but the eastern side, you've got a bit of rain and shower activity at lunchtime on Tuesday. And by Wednesday, still continuing around. In fact, it might be pushing back down in towards Canterbury, where there might be some cloudy areas, some more foggy patches off and on for the next couple of days as well, because the winds actually around New Zealand are quite light. It's not till you get offshore that you've got the stronger easterlies, and the other way, the stronger westerlies. So we're stuck in a little bit of a bubble of calm. Now, as we get towards the end of the week, on Thursday, you can see these two systems on either side, they're getting closer and closer. So we've got an area of low pressure building up here on the western side, and that big high out to the east is slowly moving away. That still means showers, but also warmer nor'easters coming back in again as a result of that. So by Friday, it's a bit of a messy forecast on Friday. We've got low pressure sitting up here to the north. That's what the models are currently thinking. But to be honest with you, weak systems like this can move around a bit. So either way, it looks as though at the end of the week, there are some showers and northeasterly winds coming on through. And that turns down to be more of a nor'easter or northerly as you go down the country. And by Saturday, no real change. That high parked there all week. So that wasn't in the forecast last week. And this high is pushing back, blocking those westerlies that are trying to come back in again. So we said last week, we got it wrong, that the westerlies would be coming in. But look, even at the end of this week, they are still being held up by this enormous high. So this high is the main feature of our weather this week. It will be influencing our weather, bringing in the easterlies to begin with, holding up the westerlies, and encouraging, even right through till this Saturday, more of these easterly winds. But whether it's westerlies or easterlies, it makes no difference. It keeps the temperatures above normal. We need a southerly to really drop things, and that is not in sight at the moment. It is looking warmer than it should be, especially by day. That is all from me. We'll update you again on Tuesday.